So how we ended up kind of talking was he was actually over here in the States at Victor Martinez's show. And we ended up basically kind of communicating through Victor a little bit. And from there, we just kind of went back and forth a little bit on what we thought would be the best for Big Ramy. And from there, it just kind of, I think even Big Ramy was kind of like, let me get a feel for this guy a little bit, you know? And then but it clicked really fast. And that was August of last year. And so that's when everything kind of started. And then it was at the beginning, we didn't know if we were going to, go into a show after the Olympia because there was possibilities, but I felt like the goal had to be dramatic.
Yeah.
Yes, it had to be dramatic. And so we both needed time. He needed time to get used to my style. I needed time to get used to his physique. And so we both agreed that the Arnold was just the key.
Yeah, for me, it's other story, a little bit, will change something. I have all my life dream to working with one like Chad. Chad, the history he's talking about him, but I don't think he's still working with athlete professional because after Victor Martinez, I don't think I don't hear he's working with someone, but I don't believe he can let me or give me that chance. And when Victor just called me, what do you think about Chad? I said, Chad, he can working with me, yes? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm getting excited to have that chance. And I call him right away. And he didn't answer. I said he sleep maybe tomorrow. And when I call him second day, hey, Mr. Chad, and what do you think about the future? And we speak about that, and he get him very excited to me, like what I had. And I said, yeah, that's my boy. Mr. Chad is not my boy, he's my coach. But yeah, that's my goal. I need one like him to drive that machine stop for a few years. Yeah, and I think I get my route. My right route, yeah.
So I think one of the big obstacles with, bigger guys is their body just is different. Obviously, everybody sees how big they are, and I have had a pretty good track record with, big guys, Ronnie, Gunther, Nasser, like big guys that are up into the 300-pound range. And it's a whole different ballgame when you're talking about bodybuilders that are 200 pounds, because if the body kind of takes a turn a little bit, you can fix that in a short period of time. And that was one of the things that we talked about, is that we need so much like communication, and we have to be able to trust each other. And I have to know every single thing that you're doing, and you have to believe that you can tell me every single thing that you're doing. And right off the bat, like I found, and I knew this with Ronnie too, because he was just a machine. And there's so many similar traits with these guys, yet their physiques are completely different, yet their mindset of a champion is very similar. And so you see those types of things, and it's interesting because I'll see Ramy do something which is different. He's doing it like he would do it, but the parallel of how it would compare to Ronnie is so unique. It's so unbelievable. So that was kind of a unique thing that really, caught me. But I will say this, when I was talking to Ramy and we were talking about like creating something, and I think athletes get carried away and they focus on certain things. They may focus on who their competition is, or they may focus on what it's going to take to do this. My focus wasn't necessarily who was competing in this Arnold. My focus wasn't, those types of things. My focus was, first of all, there's a couple focuses, I'm going to talk about those. But my focus was, what is it going to take to get Ramy at his best? And how do we get him to a point that not where he will only win the Arnold, but that he could be compared to legends down the road? And so when I was thinking about physiques, I was thinking about like the 03 Ronnie Coleman, the 98 Arnold Classic champ Flex Wheeler. Like, those were the physiques that I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about what it was going to take to win this contest, because I think the expectations are so high for Ramy. I think that what people want to see from him, they've all got this vision. Like, look, at the end of the day, we're all bodybuilding fans. We all want to see Big Ramy look a certain way. Big Ramy wants to see him look a certain way. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we have to, look at those types of things. And I think that was, one of the biggest things that I did coming into the show. I never focused on one athlete. I think all the guys in the show are amazing, amazing athletes. Yeah. But at no point did I focus on, hey, we're going to have to do this to beat this guy. I was focused on, what are we going to have to do to create Ramy where they're going to compare him to the 03 version of Ronnie Coleman. Those were, I think those were really driving forces, in trying to, create that. The other focus that I had from the get-go was creating a basic just harmony within his prep. And I felt like he was so up and down over the last few years with everything. And I think, the key with him was to, and I told him this, I was like, man, I want you to stay home, be with your family, be in your, home gym. Like, do these things for this prep, because this will make life so easy for you. And so one of my main goals for this show was trying to create the most stress-free environment. And he will even be able to answer this. Like, I looked at every possibility. It didn't matter if it was about the diet, if it was about, certain training things, travel times, like what the humidity was in Kuwait versus here, like every possible thing that I could feed him that he didn't have to worry about. So at no point did he have to stress out. He could just train, enjoy his family, be around, where he was comfortable. That was one of the most important things to me for this prep, in all honesty.
It's Arnold Classic. It's a big show, and it's now his last 30 years now, 31 years being in Ohio. And I hope one day I did that, and when I call Mr. Chad, I need to do Ohio, and we talk about that. I'm getting really excited to be in the big show like that. I did many Arnold before in Spain, and I get first, and in South America. But this for me is the first time here in Ohio, and Ohio is have a big names. Have a big names win that show, and the big names is already coming to doing the show, and I'm getting very excited to make everything is possible to win that show. Yeah.